Today, we unravel the extraordinary and tumultuous life of a woman who defied conventions, navigated scandalous affairs, and ultimately ascended to the throne. This is the captivating journey of Frederica of Mecklenburg, a royal rebel whose story unfolds like a gripping drama across the European stage. From her regal beginnings in the vaunted Altes Palais in Hanover to scandalous love affairs, familial rifts, and unexpected ascensions, Frederica's life is a saga that will leave you on the edge of your seat. But beware, the twists and turns in this royal narrative are as unpredictable as the courts she once graced. With an illustrious European lineage, Frederica of Mecklenburg, born in the esteemed Altes Palais in Hanover in March 1778, was the fifth daughter of the eventual Grand Duke of Mecklenburg. Her royal roots extended to the thrones of the United Kingdom, Prussia, and beyond, yet her behavior often diverged from traditional royal norms. Frederica's penchant for mischief may have stemmed from her unfortunate lack of a positive role model, a consequence of losing her mother at a young age during the birth of her ninth sibling. Left without a maternal figure, her father sought solace in a new union, setting the stage for Frederica's unconventional upbringing. Following her mother's passing, Frederica and her siblings relocated from the Altes Palais to Herrenhausen Palace. Distraught over the losses in his family, her father entrusted her care to a governess, Frau von Wolzogen, while he pursued a new marriage. Despite initially embracing Governess von Wolzogen, Frederica and her siblings faced an unexpected twist when 2 years after her mother's death, her father married Princess Charlotte of Hesse-Darmstadt, Frederica's aunt and her deceased mother's younger sister. Frederica, despite the initial discomfort, found solace in her aunt as a maternal figure. However, this happiness was short-lived as her aunt passed away a year later during childbirth, leaving Frederica once again without a motherly presence. In 1785, tragedy struck again when Frederica's elder sister married and moved away, taking their governess with her as part of her dowry. Frederica found herself bereft of close familial bonds. Frustrated with the challenges of maintaining a happy family, Frederica's father relocated the entire household to Hesse, leaving the care of Frederica and her siblings in the hands of their maternal grandmother, Princess Maria Louise of Hesse-Darmstadt. While receiving a rigorous Swiss education under Princess Maria Louise's guidance and the famed governess, Salome de Gelieu, Frederica and her sisters were groomed for court life. Despite this, Frederica's rebellious streak became evident as she disregarded the strict upbringing and religious education. Impressed by his daughter's education, Frederica's father was determined to secure prestigious marriages for them. Drawing on familial connections, he arranged for Frederica to marry into the royal family by proposing unions with the sons of King Frederick William II of Prussia. Unbeknownst to Frederica, her father had orchestrated a complex plan to marry her and her elder sister to the Prussian king's sons, making them unwitting pawns in a familial plot. Frederica's father meticulously arranged the encounter between his daughter and the King of Prussia in Frankfurt am Main in 1793, leaving no room for error. The plan unfolded flawlessly, and Frederica made a lasting impression on the king. The specifics of Frederica's chance encounter with the King of Prussia remain unknown, but the outcome was clear. The king, captivated by the young duchess's grace and charm, agreed to proceed with marriage arrangements. However, as history has shown, first impressions can be deceiving. A mere 2 weeks after the fateful meeting, Frederica found herself engaged to Prince Louis Charles of Prussia. Eager to expedite the union, her father wasted no time in planning the wedding, which took place on December 26th of the same year. Despite the title of prince, her new husband was far from princely. Frederica's elder sister, Louise, married the Crown Prince Frederick William, the King of Prussia's first son. Although Frederica hoped the double marriage would keep them close, it seemed that her sister got the better end of the deal. Unfortunately, Frederica's marriage to Prince Louis was far from ideal. Varying accounts exist, But according to Frederica, her prince turned out to be more of a pretender. While her sister's marriage flourished, Frederica's own union became a catastrophe, casting shadows over both royal households. The troubles began for Frederica immediately after their honeymoon, with her claiming that Prince Louis neglected her in favor of his mistresses. However, discrepancies in her account raised questions about the true nature of their scandal-plagued marriage. Despite Frederica's assertion that Prince Louis rarely touched her, the evidence of 3 children born during their tumultuous 3-year marriage suggested otherwise. Immaculate conception was improbable, pointing to a more plausible explanation. Not everyone believed Prince Louis was solely responsible for the marital discord. Some speculated that Frederica's accusations of infidelity were a cover-up for her own inappropriate affair, as she was reportedly involved with someone other than her husband. If Prince Louis did neglect Frederica, her fellow royals might have forgiven her infidelity. However, the situation took a darker turn as Frederica openly engaged in an affair with her husband's uncle, Prince Louis Ferdinand, adding another layer of complexity to the scandal. In an attempt to contain the scandal surrounding Frederica and Prince Louis's troubled marriage, the King of Prussia sent his son away, appointing him chief of the Dragoons Regiment Nomvor 1. Tragically, 3 days before their 3rd anniversary, Prince Louis succumbed to diphtheria. With his passing, Frederica found herself a free agent. At the tender age of 18, Frederica found herself a young widow, liberated and free to chart her own course. However, her father-in-law, the King of Prussia, sought to curtail any potential recklessness. To keep a watchful eye on her, he provided Frederica with a modest income and relocated her and her children to Schönhausen Palace near Berlin. Despite these measures, Frederica remained determined to pursue her desires. Unwilling to remain widowed, Frederica, armed with her youth and natural charm, sought a way to escape her father-in-law's supervision. Her solution was not just to find a new husband, but to secure an upgrade, a husband with a more extensive realm than the Kingdom of Prussia. Once again, Frederica delved into her family tree in search of a suitable match, and her gaze fell upon Prince Adolphus, Duke of Cambridge. As the 7th son of King George III of Great Britain, and crucially, her first cousin through his father's sister, Queen Charlotte, he seemed an eligible prospect. However, not everyone supported the union. The engagement between Frederica and Prince Adolphus progressed quickly, gaining approval initially from her uncle, King George III. Yet, the king advised the young couple to wait for a more opportune moment to formalize their love, a time that would ultimately never arrive. Impatience led to the abrupt end of Frederica's engagement to Prince Adolphus, shrouded in suspicion and fueled by swirling rumors. Frederica's lack of restraint prompted her to forego waiting for her first cousin's hand in marriage, resulting in a walk of shame instead of a walk down the aisle to the wedding march. Rather than passively awaiting her impending nuptials, Frederica redirected her attention to another prince, Prince Frederick William of Solms-Braunfels. True to form, Frederica soon found herself pregnant with her lover's child, ushering in a wave of scandal across Europe. The revelation of Frederica's pregnancy by another man spelled the end of her engagement with Prince Adolphus. Queen Charlotte, her aunt and prospective mother-in-law, incensed by Frederica's infidelity, took preemptive action to limit embarrassment. She asserted that her son had released Frederica from the engagement in disgrace, but the damage had already been done. Having already cultivated a somewhat rebellious reputation from her first marriage, Frederica was perceived by many as the one who ended the engagement, choosing Prince Frederick William over Prince Adolphus. However, Frederica hadn't anticipated that Prince Frederick William would be a substantial step down. By the time Frederica became romantically involved with him, Prince Frederick William was far from Europe's most eligible royal. His reputation was tarnished, marked by a dissipated lifestyle, suggesting a propensity for philandering and reckless spending. Despite this, he behaved honorably toward Frederica. Recognizing the societal implications of giving birth outside of wedlock, Frederica, or more likely her father, ensured that her baby daddy, Prince Frederick William, did the honorable thing. Despite her condition, she would marry a prince once again, opting to do the right thing for her family's reputation. In clandestine fashion and burdened with an enormous pregnant belly, Frederica eloped with Prince Frederick William. The covert marriage unfolded in Berlin in December of 1798, but instead of restoring Frederica's honor, it inadvertently had another effect. It deeply infuriated her relatives, creating a rift in the family that would prove irreparable. The fallout from Frederica's actions led to a strained relationship with her sister Louise. Once inseparable, the two became virtual strangers after Frederica relocated to Ansbach in Bavaria with her new husband. However, it was her aunt, Queen Charlotte, keeping a scornful eye from England, whom Frederica would ultimately need to be wary of. Frederica's second marriage unraveled swiftly. After the death of the couple's first child, Prince Frederick William sank into despondency, resuming his dissipated lifestyle and embracing heavy drinking. His behavior deteriorated to the point where, for once, people extended sympathy to Frederica. As long as Prince Frederick William supported her, Frederica seemingly tolerated his reprehensible conduct. However, in 1805, he abandoned his duties for undisclosed health reasons, a euphemism for struggles with alcoholism. Suddenly, Frederica found herself in a new and unfamiliar position: financial destitution. In her newfound poverty, Frederica sought assistance from her former brother-in-law, Frederick William III, her sister Louise's husband. Despite being the widow of a Prussian prince, married or not, she believed she was entitled to an annual pension from the crown. Unfortunately, her family's animosity persisted, and they denied her request. Despite her tarnished reputation, Frederica, compared to her husband, began to appear virtuous. Even her brother-in-law, William Christian, Prince of Solms-Braunfels, recognized the toxicity of the marriage and made an unprecedented offer to support Frederica in divorcing his wayward brother. However, Frederica's response surprised him. Given an opportunity for an out, Frederica chose to remain in her marriage and endure poverty. Perhaps she aimed to avoid the scandal a divorce would generate, even if she were not at fault. Alternatively, she might have feared that, as a once widowed, once divorced woman, finding another husband would prove elusive. In 1813, Frederica's father, the Duke of Mecklenburg, re-entered the scene. While not conclusively proven, it seemed the Duke resumed his discreet matchmaking efforts to extricate his daughter from her disastrous marriage. This time, his target was his nephew, Prince Ernest Augustus, another of Frederica's first cousins. The Duke's instincts about his daughter's preferences proved correct. Frederica and Prince Ernest Augustus hit it off when they chanced upon each other. The Duke made it clear that he expected Frederica to divorce her husband and enter into a relationship with Prince Ernest Augustus. In response, Frederica approached her brother-in-law to inquire if his original offer still stood. Mercifully for Frederica, everyone involved desired an end to the calamitous marriage. With all parties in agreement, it was a matter of signing the papers. However, fate intervened unexpectedly and conveniently. Prince Frederick William died suddenly and suspiciously, drawing all eyes in the room to Frederica. The convenient demise of Prince Frederick William sparked rumors that Frederica might have played a role in his death, with open speculation about poisoning. However, these whispers did not derail her plans for a new engagement. Less than 5 months after becoming a widow for the second time, Frederica found herself engaged again, and this time Queen Charlotte was prepared for her. Frederica's new fiancé, Prince Ernest Augustus, not only happened to be her first cousin, but was also the brother of Prince Adolphus, and significantly, the son of Queen Charlotte. This familial connection prompted Queen Charlotte to openly express her opposition to the marriage, even as the king granted his royal consent. Upon Frederica's arrival in England, Queen Charlotte shockingly refused to receive her. The snub, considering Frederica's dual roles as her soon-to-be daughter-in-law and niece, felt akin to a slap across the face. Beyond the Adolphus affair, Queen Charlotte had additional reasons to rebuff her niece. Queen Charlotte had received information from respectable quarters that contributed to Frederica's tarnished reputation as a royal rebel. Despite sharing this information with Prince Ernest Augustus, it did not sever Frederica's hold over him. In a clear display of disapproval, Queen Charlotte boycotted Frederica's wedding in May 1815. The insult was compounded by practically banishing Frederica and Prince Ernest Augustus from England. Unfortunately for Frederica, Queen Charlotte's animosity was far from over. Prince Ernest Augustus repeatedly sought an increase to his royal allowance, likely at Frederica's behest, but the British Parliament consistently rejected his requests. Frederica suspected that her vindictive mother-in-law played a role in these denials. In 1818, Frederica finally escaped Queen Charlotte's influence as the vengeful queen passed away. After the birth of their son George V of Hanover, the couple successfully secured an increase to their allowance. However, Frederica had to endure the consequences of her past actions. Following more than a decade in quasi-exile, tragedy struck when an undisclosed accident left Frederica's son blind. Desperate for a cure, she returned to Germany seeking the best doctors, but discovered something unexpected. While in Germany, King William IV, Frederica's brother-in-law, passed away without children. According to the laws of succession, the British crown went to his niece, Queen Victoria, while the Hanoverian crown unexpectedly passed to Frederica's husband. After a tumultuous history of marriages and affairs, Frederica became the regent of her homeland, Queen of Hanover. In 1841, at the age of 63, Frederica fell ill, and after a life marked by scandal and blood grudges, succumbed to her illness. There is a certain poetic symmetry in the idea that she drew her last breath in the same place where she drew her first, the Altes Palais. Unlike Frederica herself, her widower did not remarry, marking the end of her storied and tumultuous life.